What's up, guys? Welcome back for another solo mining episode. This could be episode 14. What's crazy about the Mackinaw and actually doing gas mining solo is each cycle is going to be essentially 200 cubic meters at 101 second cycle. So you're roughly looking at about 4 cubic meters a second with both scoops going. So we'll kind of just, I'm gonna pull a appraisal up here in a second, and that'll get us I'll get some like real-time information. I don't really like going off of an inventory estimate just because it's not really like true market value. So what I'll do is as we complete cycles, we'll be updating a appraisal, which I'll put on the screen so we can kind of just see how our value is right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a survey scan here, and so there looks like there's about 1,042 units here, and you can actually click here. We're gonna copy that out of that, so we're gonna get a good idea about what is actually the total value in this cloud by itself. So we'll go and put that on screen here. So that's what we're kind of looking at. 95 million buy in this cloud alone. And really the question is going to be, how fast can we actually suck that 95 million in? So that's 400 cubic meters, so it's 40 units, which is exactly what we were expecting. Go and get this updated. So that's 3 million, 3.6 million a cycle. So as long as we're not bothered with players or anything like that, we should do rather well. But I think after this video, we'll just kind of talk a little bit, since we're not doing a whole lot. Mining is pretty hands off. But I think probably after this video, we'll take a break, most likely, from gas mining for a little bit. There, you can do fleet gas mining. You know, one of the which one is it? I want to say the cycle time burst will actually affect the gas scoops. So if you're actually running like you can actually run a porpoise out here with like hulks or coveters, or the hulk and the coveter actually have probably the better bonuses to gas mining as far as the exhumer and the mining barge go. And so what you can do with that, and what I've done with that in the past, is let's say you take a hulk out and you have a porpoise with the cycle duration mining burst. That way you can actually decrease the mining or the scoop duration, activation duration, to get even better speeds for that. I mean, I'm not sure if that's really common knowledge. I'm not sure if there's a lot of people actually going out there and doing full on, bursted mining fleets and everything, but it works. It's a thing. So we got 80, so let's go ahead and update this again. And so we can probably, at this point, you could probably just extrapolate and get a good idea of what you could do over the course of an hour. I'd say we're probably like, maybe like 6 minutes. I'm running essentially the shield extenders and the shield rigs on this just to give me some sort of like, cushion, because most of the time, if it's a single ship that's coming in and trying to tackle me, the workhorse stabilizer will allow me to get out of most things, unless there's just a lot of tackle being done. And then also running an inert stabilizer just to bring the like almost 12-second align time down to more of like 9 and some change. It's still slow, but the thing is you essentially want your align time for your ship to be lower than the duration of your workhorse stabilizer, so that you don't have to do any like funky tricks where like you're aligning and then when you're almost aligned, you'd hit the workhorse stabilizer and take off. So if your align time is less than, you want to try to get it to where it's like less than 3 seconds or so of the duration, but that way you can just workhorse stabilize and then warp to a target, which tends to work out pretty well for me. 14.7, not bad. And obviously the Mackinaw is an exhumer. It's a fairly expensive ship. You know, if you're diligent and you're good about, like, you know, I think in most cases, if you're going to use a Mackinaw to do like gas mining, you definitely want like an alt that can scan down the sites, and you can kind of go in there and you can survey them, you can bookmark them, because you don't want to actually come in at zero at all. You definitely do not want to be coming in like that's essentially zero right there, and then it's like a really good hike to these other clouds. Usually I come in with a scout after scanning it down, and then I'll bookmark each of the harvestable clouds, and then when I come out with the Mackinaw, I'll fly straight to it. That way, if somebody does scan you down, they come over here. They do have to close this distance here, and I usually try to pick the cloud that's furthest away from zero, which I'm not sure. This might be the one that's furthest away, just by luck. If they're in a fast tackle ship, they're gonna close this distance really fast. But I mean, you know, you're just giving yourself a little bit more distance to work with. For the most part, I like just kind of like testing situations and testing income, efficiency, and things like that. This is probably the first time I've ever taken anything other than like a expeditionary frigate or a venture out to do gas mining. With the exception, I think I did procure in a wormhole at one point in the past, but definitely have never taken a Mackinaw out and done anything like this. So it would take quite a while to get this entire thing down. And you realize we've only actually mined 2,400 cubic meters, and this ship can hold 44,296 cubic meters. So filling the Mackinaw up with gas, if you are able to do that, that would be impressive. But you wouldn't, even if you mine this entire gas site, you wouldn't do it, because we'll do a survey. I think when we did the survey before, yeah, it's like this gas cloud alone is only like 10,400 cubic meters. So you'd be sitting at like 30,000-ish and some change. So mining this whole thing wouldn't even fill up the Mackinaw, which is great. It means you don't have to actually worry about emptying out or anything. So that's 742 units left in there. I wouldn't recommend it for everybody. I mean, you really want to know kind of how to use DScan and how to, you know, kind of read the system and kind of keep an eye out. It's not an AFK thing. You have to be very vigilant, especially in low sec. And even better, I mean, it's going to be probably lower cost gas, but if you can find gas in high sec, using a ship like the Mackinaw would be a good bang for your buck. We might actually try to do that too. Is like I might try to actually like spend the time and try to locate a gas site in high sec, and then we'll, you know, kind of see what that value is with the Mackinaw. You know, that's always something. I'm always looking for things to just test. You know, and the thing is like most things, if you know the cubic meter per second for your mining ship, you don't really need to be in game to find out what you can do in an hour. You could just kind of use math to figure it out. But the reason I kind of run these in game is because there are just real world variables that kind of take into account, like, are you how often are you run out of the gas cloud? Like, are you actually able to stay on grid and mine consistently for an hour? Because like the math is going to give you perfect world, right? You know, and they're going to assume that you're going to get that cubic meter per second every second for 60 minutes, and that would be your income. But it's like, what is the real world hour income when it comes to, like, you know, dealing with other players or dealing with NPC rats? And that's kind of why I end up, instead of just doing the math and just presenting it, I try to at least get out there for a significant amount of time and build the numbers through a real world. Most of the time I don't really get harassed, which is kind of strange. I think it's because I'm just hyper vigilant, and also I like to scout systems for a while. Obviously you can't scout low sec systems for too long without the risk of actually losing the gas cloud. But really it's kind of like, you know, what is the operational time zone in that low sec system? You know, when are the I guess the regulars online? That's something that I always try to take into account. I do a lot of actually just kind of reconning, about 30 million in 15 minutes. So 30 minutes, 60. So you could be looking at roughly 120 an hour. I don't really want to run this video for an hour, even though we could definitely just sit here probably for a few and mine everything out. But really the goal for this episode was just to kind of look at raw numbers and see where we're kind of sitting at. Yeah, I think we've seen enough. I think, as you can tell, like the Mackinaw is a pretty good gas mining ship. If you're able to kind of like hang out and not be bothered and everything. But hopefully this video is interesting. Hopefully it kind of motivates people to use some bigger ships in gas mining. Keep in mind it is, you are taking on a lot more risk because the cost of the ship is a lot higher than what you would normally do gas mining in. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you want to help support the channel, there's channel memberships where you can get emotes and membership badges. So there's that, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.